Okay, welcome to this short video about life chances. The concept of life chances. This is useful for sociology in any kind of level of study, specifically for G674 OCR Social Inequality and Difference exam, A2 level exam. But this can be applied anywhere. So the concept of life chances refers to the opportunities each individual has to improve their quality of life. This was developed by Max Weber, German sociologist. We're to study it scientifically, to look at it in terms of variables and opportunities, to measure how frequently people had different opportunities to achieve certain levels of educational achievements, types of jobs, market situation, life expectancies, health outcomes, and so on. So if we look at each theory in turn, firstly with Verbarianism, we can see the concept of dual labour market. We have a primary and secondary labour market. Baron and Norris say that we have people who have the better market situation, work situation, more income, better work conditions, compared to those with inferior positions. So if you compare a barrister who earns a great deal of money in a short time with a cleaner. Social mobility can also be analysed. We can see that over time, absolute mobility, especially in the 90s and before the 90s, had increased. In other words, people had a better position compared to their parents' generation. However, relative social mobility is said to be stagnating. Some evidence shows that it's still harder for someone from a lower status background to achieve a professional position later in their life compared to those from professional managerial backgrounds who were born into those backgrounds. Social closure, Weber refers to processes where groups protect their market and work situation. This can involve marriage within their group. It can involve social networking, such as the Oxford and Cambridge Black Book events. Can involve employment, where you recruit from your social pool. For example, in the civil service, recruiting from public school, middle class backgrounds by those in the civil service from public school, middle class backgrounds. Some of the issues about social mobility and the different labour market positions may be explained from a neo-Marxist perspective. Bourdieu talks about types of capital. So cultural capital, having the right language, attitudes, values, qualifications and tastes in terms of arts and music and literature may influence your opportunities. Someone who goes to a formal dinner to apply for, as part of the application process for the bar exam, may not come across as well as someone from a different class position. This may disadvantage them. Economic capital, someone who has the amount of money to pay for the LPC exam, the bar exam, may not have the same opportunities as someone who comes from a more privileged background. Social capital, someone who goes to the right school and has the right kind of social network in their family and network of acquaintances, may not have the right privileges and advantages to benefit their opportunities. Seabrook talks about the new servant class, a group who are serving the middle class and the upper class. This could be as part of the new kind of knowledge and service economy and the decline in industrial and manual work, where it's still work that is less privileged and less well paid. Eric Wright talks about contradictory class location of the middle class, where again the opportunities to improve the quality of life may be enhanced by having some level of power and ownership of the means of production through share ownership, for example, but then may be diminished by their position in being exploited by the upper class, the owners. We could discuss the functionalists. It depends on the essay question. For a 20 marker, we might focus on the other theories. The functionalists, we could use the functionalist view in a 40 marker question especially, where we could talk about meritocracy, ability and effort equals status. So your status is based on your talents and it's based on how hard you work. Functions such as Parsons therefore argue power and inequality is legitimate and acceptable. It benefits everyone to have intelligent and hard-working leaders, for example. So they believe in the concept of equal opportunities, and therefore everyone has the same kind of opportunities to improve their quality of life. They can clearly be criticised from the other perspectives. Feminists talk about 19.7% pay gap in 2013. Men have better opportunities compared to females. Glass ceiling. There are practices and processes which can limit women's opportunities to improve their quality of life. There's even talk of a motherhood gap, where the more children you have, the more you're likely to suffer inequalities in terms of earning the same pay compared to males. The UK is actually the 6th most unequal in terms of gender pay gap in Europe. Postmodernists talk about choice. In terms of opportunities, there's fragmentation of traditional divisions such as class and other structures like race. This creates uncertainty and it creates more choices. So over identities, we've got this ability to choose our identities based on picking and mixing them. Paulinus talks about a cultural supermarket where we're choosing from a range of options. Daniel Bell talks about a knowledge economy where we're able to use mental rather than physical powers. So a shift from manual to non-manual post-industrial work has created more opportunities for a great number of people from diverse backgrounds. Some postmodernists, such as Jameson, are still influenced by Marxists and think that globalisation has actually led to more exploitation due to capitalism, for example, labour markets, exploitation overseas. So that is not all the postmodernists say about choice. They also talk about exploitation. We could also talk about intersectionality, how the impact of class and age and gender and ethnicity combine in an individual, and that can have a simultaneous effect on their opportunities to improve their quality of life. For example, an African Caribbean female may experience different issues, not only sexism but also racism. This is supported by Bell Hooks, a black feminist, who talks about the fact that we live in a white, imperialist, patriarchal society. Also supported by Edward Said, who talks about post-colonial society, where we have concept of equal opportunities, but still this division and binary opposition between the West and the East, and between males and females and so on, which creates continuing divisions in the contemporary world. Those kinds of divisions can continue to affect our opportunities to improve our quality of life based on our background rather than our ability and effort, suggesting meritocracy is not being fully achieved. Our life chances are still affected by those divisions. So if you have any questions, please email Daniel_Butcher@hotmail.co.uk.